The Palworld vs. Nintendo saga continues, and while the genre-bending title is safe for now, it feels like Pocketpair's little Pokémon with guns game might have to try and shoot down a lawsuit or two in its future.
Well, that sucks and I hate it.
Palworld continues to court rave reviews from fans and controversy from detractors, dividing the gaming community like no other title in recent memory. The so-called Pokémon with Guns survival game from Pocketpair brought in nearly 20 million players in its first couple of weeks of release on Steam and Game Pass, and it shows no signs of slowing down. At this point, it seems like the only thing that could stand in the way of Palworld's supremacy would be a challenge from one of gaming's titans of industry. If Palworld players suddenly felt a chill run down their spines, it could be because the president of Nintendo has finally spoken up about his feelings towards the game. And sorry fans, if things go south,
you're basically f***ed.
Pretty much ever since Palworld was first announced, skeptics have taken issue with the design of the game's titular pals, many of which look like outright clones of beloved Pokémon. These concerns were only amplified when gamers started digging into the history of Pocketpair, discovering that the developer has expressed an interest in using AI for game design in the past. This all coalesced into accusations that Pocketpair had used AI to generate its Pokémon-esque pals, or had otherwise copied Nintendo and Game Freak's homework a little too closely. Though no concrete evidence has emerged to suggest that Pocketpair did indeed steal the Pokémon company's designs, a large number of gamers have been bracing themselves for news of a lawsuit for weeks now. Others have reached out to the rights holders of the Pokémon franchise to find out what, if anything, the gaming giant wants to do about Palworld. Here's what the president of Nintendo had to say about the matter. After a routine financial briefing, Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa fielded questions about the industry and Nintendo's plan for the future. When asked about his feelings regarding Palworld, Reuters reports via Google Translate that the gaming press was very to the point to his response. He said, "We will take appropriate action against those that infringe our intellectual property rights." This statement appeared to satisfy those in attendance, and the Q&A continued on without further reference to Palworld or Pocketpair. It's worth noting that this mirrors the Pokémon Company's recent statement very closely. In late January, the Pokémon Company assured fans that it's well aware of Palworld and the controversies surrounding it, explaining, quote, "We have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 2024. We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokémon intellectual property or assets in that game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to the Pokémon." Yep, Nintendo is rallying the troops.
Squad, spread out in 3-man teams. Await further orders.
In other words, the folks who own Pokémon, the franchise that so many people are convinced is being ripped off by Palworld, are monitoring the situation. Interestingly enough, neither statement directly mentions Palworld by name, even though the intention is unmistakable. This would seem to suggest that Nintendo and the Pokémon Company are being very careful not to outright accuse Palworld of any wrongdoing. Still, regardless of the fact that neither Furukawa nor the Pokémon Company have made any specific references to current legal moves against Pocketpair, some gamers seem to think that time is running out for Palworld. Palworld fans seem to be pretty split on what this statement means for the future of the game. Some Palworld players are already feeling gloom and doom over the statement from Nintendo's president, urging their fellow players to put in as much time as they can now before the game is shut down. Of course, there's no evidence at this time that points to the game being in that much danger. But fans have gotten used to Nintendo nuking unauthorized uses of its IP. Some gamers think that Nintendo is just sick of hearing about Palworld at this point. One gamer on X, formerly Twitter, summed up Shuntaro Furukawa's statement as such. "There's no proof that Palworld infringed on our IP. We know this, we already said this, stop asking." Others remain unconvinced that Nintendo is going to pursue a case against Palworld and Pocketpair. Many have pointed to the major differences between the two games as proof that Palworld stands on its own. One X-user remarked, "Yes, players can capture pals using a sphere. But where Palworld shines is the ability to plant or hunt for food, craft items, or base build. Things that can never be done in Pokémon." Others have added onto this by pointing out that both Shuntaro Furukawa and the Pokémon Company have promised to sue anyone who infringes on their IP, which means Palworld is safe as long as it is not actually plagiarized. There is a fine line between homage and theft, and most Palworld diehards seem to feel that Pocketpair is safe in this regard. For now.